Am I the asshole for saying my husband is a good father? So when he was in his early 20s, my husband got a girl pregnant. They were casual dating in college, they had a lot of mutual friends. He didn't want to be a dad and told her as much, but she was adamant about keeping the baby. He was supportive through the pregnancy, but was clear he didn't want to be involved. He wanted to renounce his rights, but ended up with an agreement where he still pays child support, but doesn't do visitation, nor has involvement in any parental decisions. The girl is now 12. He hasn't met her, nor does he ever plan to do. I met him 8 years ago. We've been married for almost 7. He told me about the whole having a biochild out there very early on. I was and am fine with it. It is sad that a child came into the world under those circumstances, but I don't think he was wrong for choosing not to be involved. We now have a 5-year-old son. My husband has always been wonderful to me. That's why I fell in love with him. He was great during the pregnancy and birth, and has been doting on our son and me ever since. I think he's a wonderful dad and husband. But the problem is, 2 of his friends married their college girlfriends, whom were and are friends with his bio daughter's mother. In now 3 occasions in conversations where I said my husband is a wonderful father, one of them said something snarky and mean like, yeah, to only one of his children. Over the weekend, we attended one of the kids' birthday parties. I was chatting to another mum about motherhood and said that it's easier when you have a good team player in your spouse. The homeowner mum chimed in to say loudly, if only the mother of his other child had the same. Later I confronted her in the kitchen, said that I was very tired of her and other friends' comments about my husband, that she didn't need to invite us to things or spend time with us if she didn't want to, but it was super disrespectful to constantly be insulting him as a father. She told me she initially liked me, but finds it distasteful and rude that I keep praising my husband as a good father when I'm well aware that he isn't, that she will always make sure to correct me, because it's not okay that he got away with what he did, and he now gets to play happy family with me and our son. The conversation went south from then on, and of course we left. The other mum's friend texted me yesterday to tell me that she completely backs up what the other one said, and that I'm horrible for marrying and having a kid with a deadbeat, and on top of it, to praise him as a good dad. I have no doubts of my feelings. My husband has been great, and is great with our son and me. I guess I never thought about how my words could be insensitive towards his bio daughter and her mother, whom I have never met. But am I the asshole for occasionally saying my husband is a good father when talking to people? Should I stop? In the comments, Ray Ballester says, not the asshole. And I really don't get all the comments saying otherwise. He wasn't ready to be a father then, made that very clear to the ex, still supported her through the pregnancy, still pays child support, and is stuck to their agreement, as has the ex. What, is he supposed to just show up at random, toss that little girl's life into disarray just so he's not a deadbeat? Which he doesn't seem to be at all? Your other comments even make it clear that he recognized it would be unethical to give away parental rights, which it wouldn't have been. I mean, is there something I'm missing here? He can't be a good or bad father to that little girl because he is not her father in anything more than blood. He is a father to your son, and a good one in ways beyond that. So no, you're not the asshole for saying he is what he is. Not the asshole. He made it clear that he wasn't interested in being a single father in his 20s, and it sounds like the mother was willing to be a single mother. He chose to have a kid with you, and sounds like a great dad. Good on you for defending him, but you might want to talk to him about dropping those friends. I'm kind of torn between everyone sucks here and you're the asshole. You're right that they probably just shouldn't hang out with you and your husband, but if your husband is friends with their spouses, they're a little bit stuck. And they should let sleeping dogs lie, and yet, why do you talk about what a great father your husband is that often, that it's now come up in conversations 3+ times? It sounds like you were defensive and constantly reiterating that he's a great father in front of these women who are good friends with the woman that he left to parent alone. So I honestly don't blame them for wanting you to shut it. So it comes down to why this has come up so often. If they are constantly bringing up, unprompted, that your husband sucks as a dad, they should stop. But you should also stop constantly bringing up, unprompted, that he is a great dad. Their friend has been a single parent for years because he only values one of his children. You've decided that's okay with you, but it doesn't have to be okay with them. Back up to the post, there's an edit. Even though I'm not the asshole per the votes, I will stop all contact with these women, so my comments to them will cease anyway. My husband spoke to one of his friends today, and it seems like this is a lot bigger, but has not much to do with us. Very tough one, because I don't know if OP is just bringing these things up out of the blue, and I want to say not the asshole because I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not just intentionally bringing up the fact that he's a great dad out of nowhere all the time. I get that that's something that can happen, but I think it would be unrealistic that OP is just intentionally bringing it up and then these scenarios are happening. I feel like there's something else going on that has not been touched on. I refuse to believe that OP is a pick-me that has to back up her husband every step of the way and, start these fights. I think it's great that OP is stopping contact with these women because I don't see this ever getting better, and this may be the only solution if no one is willing to sit down and talk about this. And yeah, it is a lot bigger, doesn't have much to do with you. So I don't see in that instance how you could be the asshole for that. It sounds like something else is going on. And now, onto the update a month later. So I spoke with Tim after I posted here. He decided to speak with his friend John about what his wife Jane was doing, and we will cut Jane off. After Tim spoke to John, we learned the truth. Turns out this wasn't about Tim or me at all. I can only say what John authorized me to share. Even when this is anonymous, he prefers not to go into details. While still in college, John and Jane also had an unplanned pregnancy, and he wanted an abortion, but she didn't. They were still discussing what to do when she had a miscarriage, early stage. They never told anyone because she didn't want to, and John respected her wishes. My husband never knew about this and felt terrible for them. While they moved on and eventually got married and had kids, it's obvious she isn't over it and harbors resentment towards him for his stance at the time. Since our son was born, it seems she has been occasionally unloading her feelings onto Tim because she feels this is how it would have gone for her if she didn't miscarry. This is what John said. I had not spoken to Jane, so I don't know her side. John confronted her after Tim spoke to him. They had a big fight because John did not like her actions and immediately saw what was the real reason behind them. He's been staying in our guest house for almost 2 weeks now, but we hope they will work through it for the sake of their family. She hates us even more now, though, for hosting him, so we're not really sure how our friendship will fare if and when they reconcile. The most important part of the update is that John contacted Biodaughter's mum, Callie, after fighting with Jane. He told her everything and asked her to stop feeding Jane's irrational feelings because she was taking them out on us instead of him and causing problems for Tim. Callie ended up contacting me on social media. This was an absolute first. We have never interacted in any way before, and I did freak out about it when I first saw her message. She was wanting to speak to me mother to mother and clear things out. So I responded, and we got chatting. Tim was informed. She said she wanted me to know that she didn't want anything more from Tim than what they had agreed on, that she never fed anything to Jane regarding him, that they don't even talk that often, and she wanted no part of this mess, nor to be dragged into it. I told her that we had a feeling she wasn't involved in the situation and appreciate her telling me, but really, this has nothing to do with her, and I apologized if the drama disturbed her and her daughter. We got chatting from there on, and she's a lovely person. She is married, and her husband Sal has been in their daughter Ellie's life since she was about 2. She calls him Dad. They also have a younger daughter together. She knew about Tim being married to me and about us having a son because apparently Jane shared those things with her despite her telling her that she had no interest in hearing about him. So I updated Tim of my chats with Callie all along. After some reflection and back and forths, we ended up having a video call, just the 4 of us. Tim and I, Callie and Sal, just this past weekend. It was awkward at first, but we talked about Ellie mostly. We saw pictures of her. A beautiful girl. The gist of this is that Sal and Callie have been wanting him to adopt Ellie officially, but they were honest about how their finances would suffer from losing the child support, plus the biggest obstacle was they didn't want Ellie to lose her college fund and trust fund from Tim, because they would have a very hard time providing college funds for both their daughters in their current situation, and all the more without the child support. They're not poor nor anything, but they just don't have the means for saving away that much. Long story short, after this call, it was decided that Tim will renounce paternity and Sal will adopt Ellie officially, but Ellie will keep her trust fund and college fund. It'll be up to them to decide how and what to disclose to Ellie as for where the money comes from, but so far, she knows her bio father was doing his half of the financial responsibility. In other words, of course, so I don't think they would lie to her about it. This will take some time to be finalized. We only just started, and we still need to consider if and when our children want to meet, which is a difficult topic to tackle, and we agreed to continue discussing it over time. But we are all happy. Tim says this is how it should have been all along, and Callie and Sal seem thrilled about finally being an official family. There was even a very nice moment when Sal told Tim, "You have a lovely family." And Tim replied, "Thanks. So do you." So thanks, Reddit. If I hadn't posted here, maybe none of this would be happening. In the comments, quote, "John did not like her actions and immediately saw what was the real reason behind them. He is staying in our guest house for almost 2 weeks now." Some posters come from other cultures, others merely come from very different economic classes than the one that I'm in. I don't want to think whether the guest house is larger than my apartment. I guess the updates give away how much money the OP and her husband have. Child support sounds substantial, and then there's the college and trust funds. Many people will be able to save some money for a college fund, but most won't have a trust unless there is some significant financial backing behind it. Every time I read someone talking about their guest house or basement apartment they're renting out or letting family live in, or 5-bedroom house, I take a minute to look around my studio apartment and remind myself how much easier it is to keep 400 square feet clean. Well, at least the crash and burn of those friendships ended up being the domino effect that's going to let Sal adopt Callie. Silver linings. Well, he's adopting Ellie, Callie is his wife, but yeah, at least the two normal couples communicated and found a solution to the only problem they had. Well, all's well that ends well in this story, I guess. Glad they figured it all out in the end, and I think, yeah, it did lead to a bit of a beautiful ending there, in which Ellie got officially adopted. I love that. I hope all is well with those families now, and I guess this is one of those rarer stories that is more beautiful than tragic. I'm still not the asshole on this one personally, and thank you for sharing the story with us, OP. Our next post is by user TechnicalCause4323, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole for telling my wife she's perfect the way she is after she gave birth a month ago, which resulted in her lashing on to me? I've been married to my wife for 2 years. I am 24 and she is 26. After she got pregnant, she would always find fault in every little thing she did or I did, constantly complains about everything. It started during her second trimester and didn't stop, but got worse. I always was by her side and would comfort her, and she would calm down for our baby. But yesterday, she had a breakdown. She was sobbing so much, when I went to her and asked her what's wrong, she took her clothes off and screamed, 'Look at me! Look at my belly!' I gave her a hug and told her that it's a bit different now, but certainly will get better. Just give it some time. I said I love her the way she is, and that our bodies change over time, but my love towards her will never fade because I love her for who she is, not her body. She screamed at me and said, am I pitying her? Am I enjoying the way that she and her body is? Do I want an ugly wife? I said you got it all wrong and hugged her. She grabbed my collar and aggressively kissed me. I didn't like it, but I went with it for her. She said that I'm not allowed to sleep with her tonight. She loves me, but if I were to say something like this again, she will punch me. I tried stopping her and explaining myself, but she didn't listen to me and grabbed our baby and went to sleep. I didn't bother her by going to our bedroom despite wanting to see my baby for my wife's sake, but now I'm wondering if I said something wrong. I just wanted to comfort her, not insult her. I didn't mean to hurt her, but she took it as if I was making fun of her or putting her down. So am I the asshole? I don't even understand what I did wrong here. In the comments, someone asks, is she seeing a psychiatrist and/or psychologist right now? The hormone rollercoaster during and after pregnancy is wild and can truly cause some women to lose their minds and/or wills to live. Postpartum psychosis and depression are debilitating. She sounds like she needs professional help for her sake and your and your baby's sakes as well. And OP says, no, she isn't, but after the way she reacted, I'm scared and don't really know how to bring it up to her. And they reply, incredibly fair. She seems very volatile right now. This is something that you could reach out to your family care doctor about and ask them for their advice on the matter, but I would urge you to do so. This is a matter of safety for everyone involved, including yourself. And OP says, I'm not really concerned about my safety. I'm more so concerned about my wife's and my baby's. My priority is to always take care and think of them first. I know my wife wouldn't harm our baby because she always talks and thinks about her. She wakes up in multiple times in the middle of the night to check on our baby and spends most of her time with our baby, keeps our baby close in her arms all day. She loves our baby to death. She probably loves our baby more than she loves me, and I am so grateful. But you're right. I should talk to our family doctor, to talk to my wife, or even see a counselor as to how to bring this idea of seeking professional help to my wife, because now I think she's not well and want to make sure that she doesn't get worse. I'm now thinking of just taking a few weeks leave and care for her and keep seeking options to get her help, medical therapy, or whatever it is. I am so concerned for her after the way she acted. I know she loves me, and I love her as well. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that OP is not from a Western country here, and yeah, medical therapy, counseling, all of that would be great, but if there's not easy access to that or cheap access, you're kind of up shit's creek without a paddle. I hope OP can help her out, and he can't exactly force her to see a doctor as well if she doesn't want to. I guess all OP can really do is kind of try and create a safe and supporting environment for his wife and his child, and just move forward kind of managing the situation however that ends up looking. Just based on the stories I've read here about PPD and everything to do with that, it really does sound like it's some form of PPD. And that can be quite dangerous for the mother and the child. So I hope that OP comes back with a reasonable solution on how they are dealing with this one. And now, onto the update, one day later. I am thankful for everyone's advice. It's the first time for me that my wife has been reacting the way she is, and it's also the first time for her to give birth and see her body change so drastically. But when I was reading the comments, I saw many people suggested that I should leave because my wife said she would punch me. I don't think it's a good idea for me to run away and leave my love and my baby behind to tend for themselves. Anyway, I focused on comments about helping her as soon as possible for her and our baby's sake. I don't know much about PPD or psychosis, but no matter what it is, I'm willing to take a punch from her if it calms her down, because normally she wouldn't say that, and I don't think it's abuse. I think she's just suffering. After reading all the comments, I decided to call my mother-in-law. I explained to her everything and what my wife said, and my mother-in-law asked why I didn't tell her sooner. Why did I wait? I said I'm sorry, and she said don't apologize. She's flying to us, but it'll take her a while, so I should try my best to comfort her. Last time I tried to comfort her about her body, but this time I thought it would be best if I talked to her about our love and how much we love our baby. I went to her, and she was playing with our baby, and when she saw me, she asked me what I wanted. I said, can we hug each other for a while, and she said yes. We both hugged each other and held our baby together. I expressed my love to her. I told her how much I love her, and that she and our baby are the most important for me. They are my priority. She and our baby is my everything. And I said I'm sorry, and I want to be in her and our baby's life until I die, and do everything I can for them, her, and our baby's health and well-being, and it's what I think about all the time. My wife started crying and just didn't say anything. She just hugged me and cried, but after I told her that she should put our baby to sleep first, she calmed down. After our baby fell asleep, I comforted her more. She didn't say anything at all, just kept crying and hugging me on the couch. I kept telling her that I love her, and will always do, and no matter what, I will always be by her side to help her, and I know she loves me. She was silent, but I was kissing her forehead and face, and eventually she fell asleep, and is still sleeping by my side. I texted my mother-in-law about everything, and will do if there is a drastic change in my wife's behavior. I told her that she shouldn't tell my wife that I talked to her, and I'm texting because I don't want my wife to wake up and know about it all. My mother-in-law said that she knows what to do, but I should take care of her until she arrives. So yeah, that's all that has happened. I'm gonna stay awake until my mother-in-law arrives and help my wife if she needs help. Meanwhile, I will read more and educate myself. I am happy that she's sleeping peacefully, posting this once again for advice. I would appreciate it. I decided to not involve doctors yet until my mother-in-law arrives, and like others said, she will know what to do. In the comments, OP responds to a downvoted comment regarding his wife abusing him. OP asks, "Question: do you really think she is abusing me? I don't like the way you guys are talking about my wife. Do you really think she's in a condition to accept responsibility? She gave birth to our child and is clearly suffering, and as a husband and father, I also am too. Not as much as she is, but still pissed out of my mind. Why did she wait so long to abuse me? Give birth to my child and abuse me? Is that some kind of master plan or something? So what's the solution? Run away and get out of my own home and leave my own wife and child behind while my mother-in-law is on the way to help us? Change their fucking city or country or whatever? Listen, man, my wife didn't abuse me. Sure, she was out of line, but she gets a pass for biting my lip and tongue because she gave birth to my child just a month ago, but right now, I cannot just leave her behind and do fuck all with my life. If in the future she keeps abusing me, then I will definitely leave." A commenter says, "You're doing your best to support her, which is really important. Just remember, reaching out to a professional might help both you and your wife get through this challenging time even more effectively. You are not alone in this, and seeking help can make a big difference." OP says, No, a professional therapist is a necessity at this point for the both of us. Forget about me, it's necessary for her. But I thought it's better if I follow my mother-in-law's advice. Yesterday, my wife lashed out at me. Today, she said, "What do I want?" Calling a doctor is not a problem, it just takes a call and a bit of money, and I don't care about it. But the thing is, she might get angry and start overthinking, and I want to avoid that for her health. She's currently sleeping peacefully, just beside me, and my mother-in-law said that she knows what to do, and to just wait unless it's an emergency. So I decided to wait and let her sleep peacefully. It's not that I don't want her to get help from a professional, it's I don't know how to bring it up to her, and I want her to sleep unless there's an emergency. Her mother knows way more than my wife and I do, and I decided to trust her judgment and wait. OP responds to on waiting until his mother-in-law arrives before getting the doctor involved with his wife's care. OP says, "You are a nurse. You are far more experienced than I could ever possibly be. As ignorant and stupid as I am about what my wife is going through, I decided not to call a doctor after my wife yesterday lashed out at me and her reaction today when she asked me what do I want. My mother-in-law is no therapist, but as best as my judgment can be at this moment, I thought she can handle this situation far better than I can. A woman in her 50s knows far more than I do. I was thinking that my wife would lash onto me and complain that I called the doctors on her. My mother-in-law would be with us before my wife wakes up, so I thought that she can talk to her way better than I can. I also want to sleep, and I'm exhausted, but I won't. She and our baby come first for me. Maybe naive, stupid, ignorant, or whatever, I just tried my best. One wrong word from me, and it will piss her off even more, is what I thought. And you said she might get better in a week, which means it might take even longer? That's absolutely effing terrifying. I think she will. She has to. If not for me, then for our baby. She's sleeping peacefully after crying a lot. If her health gets worse, then I'm rushing her to a hospital. Is there a lack of judgment on my part? In the comments, Zipper1919 says, I think OP is definitely doing the right thing. It's not like he's going to stay awake for days until mother-in-law gets there. She's probably coming during the day, and he's just pulling an all-nighter to keep an eye on his two loves. These people on Reddit are great, but it's not a call 911 or whatever is similar in their obviously not American country, while wife is finally snoring away peacefully in that sleep of the dead sleep you have after bawling your eyes out. That would not help. Waiting for mum? That's a fantastic idea. New mums just need their mums if they were good mums. If they were shit mums, then they just need any good mum they can trust. Not to mention, waiting for a hormonal woman's mum to talk about pregnancy hormones and helping her get the help she needs, especially if she is questioning her appearance and not wanting to hear her husband's opinion on how beautiful she looks to him, it's probably a better topic for her to have with her mum rather than OP. He isn't just sticking his head in the sand. He is holding down the fort until reinforcements can arrive. As long as she isn't a danger to anyone, waiting 24 hours, I hope not more, for mother-in-law to arrive is going to be the best way to get through to her and will have her, hopefully, more receptive to acknowledging she needs help. My hubby got me out of the house for the night and to my best friend's mum's house, because that was the easiest way to remove some of my triggers, while he came up with a plan with my dad overnight to get me to my dad so I could get the help I needed. And yeah, the part where mother-in-law asks, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" that tells me that she has had probably some experience with PPD and would know what to do in this instance. I think OP is solid. I think OP is doing a great job here. It's definitely not a call the police situation and get her, taken away. She's not acting irrationally and, threatening the baby's life. That doesn't appear to be happening here. Hopefully in the future we get another update from them talking about, how good a job she's doing now and how she has calmed down a lot. But until then, thank you for the story, OP, and God bless you and your mother-in-law for helping your wife. And that's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.